Guys, what's up? It's Grace, and today I'm doing my February wrap-up. I've read 4 books, 1 graphic novel, and 1 play this month, which is pretty good. The gardeners. Try to ignore the background noise. Also, I started a book but didn't finish, and I might finish, I don't know, but I'll talk about it at the end of the video. I didn't stick with my TBR, which is no shocker because I never stick with my TBR. I only read 2 things from it, so yeah, let's get started. The first book I read is Graceling by Kristin Cashore. This is a very well-known book on BookTube. This is the first book in the Graceling companion trilogy. It follows a girl named Katza, and she's graced with killing. Like in her society, great people are graced with different things, like cooking or running or whatever, and she's graced with killing, which is really rare, especially for a girl. And she does all the king's dirty work. She like tortures people and stuff like that, and she really doesn't like it. And she's trying to just like find her own thing, and it's really good. I really like this book. I gave it 4 stars, and I cannot wait to read the second book, Fire, which is a companion novel, so it follows a different protagonist, and I prefer that, so yeah. Next book I read is Invaded by Melissa Landers. This is the second book in the Alienated trilogy, I think that's what it's called, and I really liked it. I thought it was a solid sequel. I liked that you got to know more about like the alien politics and how they keep their society kind of together. Really cool reading the description of the planet, and it was just interesting. Some terms in this book were used in Cinder and stuff, like Comsphere, and I think their planet is named the same thing. Lear, I think. I'm not sure, it just sounds familiar. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, I gave this book 4 stars. The next book I read is Slammed by Colleen Hoover. If you guys know, I am a huge fan of Colleen Hoover, and so I had pretty high expectations going into this book. It follows a girl named Lakin, and her father has recently passed away, and her and her family move from Texas to Michigan, and she really doesn't want to move, but she has to. And the first day she moves there, she meets a guy named Will, which is her neighbor, and they have an instant connection. Insta-love, man. Like crazy. I didn't like this book, which is so awful. I love Colleen Hoover, and it hurts me to not like one of her books. I really didn't like the relationship between Lakin and Will. It was just like unhealthy and toxic, and it was just like reading it just kind of felt like a game of tug-of-war, like who has the power in the relationship, and it was not fun. The only thing I liked about this book was the slammed poetry. Like, that's pretty cool, and I'm not a huge fan of poetry, but I liked slammed more because it's more like theatrical, and I don't know, you like are on a stage presenting it, so it's kind of like acting in a way, but acting your own experiences, and that made me really interested in slammed poetry, so that was cool. I originally gave this book 3 stars, but the more I think about it, I can't give this book 3 stars because I really didn't like it, so I'd give it 2.5 stars, and it hurts, guys. It hurts to give a Colleen Hoover book anything less than 5 stars. I won't be continuing on with the series or trilogy thing. I'll probably just be giving this book away. Next book I read is Stolen Songbird by Danielle Jensen. This follows a girl named Cecily who is kidnapped from her village and taken to an underground troll society, and she's married off to the Prince of Trolls, and so it's basically just about her, like, her figuring everything out. I read the first half really quick, but I had to babysit my niece and nephew, and so I couldn't read this for 4 days, and then after the 4 days I read the last half, and it was kind of just boring and repetitive to the first half. Like, some of the things that happened again, and you're like, what? So that was annoying, but I definitely am going to continue on with this series, and I would give this 3.5 stars. Next thing I read was for my English course, and that is The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. This is one of his most popular plays, and it's basically just a parody on high society back in the 1800s, and it was really freaking funny. Like, I don't know why, but in my mind, back in the 1800s or back in the old days, there was no humor. I don't know why I think that, but I just think that everyone was so serious back then. So reading this play and reading the humor that's in it just makes everything so much funnier and really hilarious. If you're a fan of Oscar Wilde or just anything funny and ridiculous, then I definitely pick this up. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. Next thing I read was Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. This is a very hyped up graphic novel series on BookTube, as you know, and I went into it thinking that I'd like it. I didn't have that high expectations for it because looking at it, it just was like, this might be a little bit too weird for me, but it was really freaking good and I loved it. I love the storyline and I like the fact that it's written from their kid, and that was just really cool, and I loved the way it ended. It was really funny, and the artwork is so gorgeous and it's very weird. Like, some of the scenes are just like, what? But it's really funny and great, and I definitely would recommend this. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I have the second one, so I'm really excited to pick this one up, which I probably will do it very, very soon. The last thing I'm going to show you is Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. I didn't finish this. I'm a little bit more than halfway done. If you guys saw the video where I hauled this book, you'd know that I was skeptical about reading it because I heard there was a rape scene in it, and I wasn't really comfortable like with reading that. But I read it before I started the book, and it wasn't, it was just more mentioned than it was described. So I picked it up and I started reading, and I was enjoying it, and then about, I don't know, like here, it just got boring. So I was like, I don't know. And I just think you have to be in a certain mood to read this book, and I'm just not in the mood to read it. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Those are all the books that I read in February. If you've read any of these, comment down below and tell me what you think of them, and then tell me what you read this month and what was your favorite. My favorite, I don't know. I really liked 3. I liked Saga, The Importance of Being Earnest, and Graceling. Those were all really great. So yeah, just tell me your favorite. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.